Hello, my name is Erik DeMar. I'm an FP&A and accounting professional, and I'm passionate about process improvement and about enabling teams to spend more time analyzing the business rather than chopping up spreadsheets. So I wanted to share with you today a way in which you can automate simple but cumbersome tasks that are currently done with Excel. So let's first start with an overview of the use case. So let's say you're working on your 2022 budgets and you decide to create a bunch of different budget templates for the sales team to enter their targets by customer into. And when it's time to consolidate all of this data, you're left with figuring out how to combine all of these files into one data set, which can be an extremely manual process. And while there are other solutions to automate this process, today I want to show you a tool called Alteryx, which is a best-in-class analytics process automation platform. It's a flowchart, tool-based designer that allows non-technical FP&A professionals to implement lightning fast data processing solutions, which really leave any Excel power user in the dust. And so some other solutions could be to use power tools like Power BI or Power Query, Tableau. Some might use, they might link Excel files together with a formula, which might create a bunch of different opportunities for failure depending on how many links you have. Some might open up each file and copy and paste the data into a main spreadsheet, which is just very manual, and others might write some complex VBA to do it. But I'm about to show you a drag and drop solution that once implemented takes around 10 seconds to process. It's repeatable whenever you wanted to refresh your summary data set. And all it requires is a few tools in Alteryx. And so today I'll be using an input tool to bring in all the data from each Excel file, a filter tool to remove cells that don't contain any data, and a data cleansing tool to remove any leading spaces in a cell. And then lastly, an output tool to output the new data set to an Excel file. All right, let's jump into the tool. Okay, so here's the tool, and basically you've got your canvas for architecting the solution in the center of the screen, the various tools that Alteryx offers at the top of the screen, a configuration portion on the left, and a results pane on the bottom. What I do is point my workflow to the location that all of these Excel files are saved to. And so what I've done is drag what's called an input tool onto the canvas. And now let's point it to the location that all of these sales forecasts are saved to. And we're going to click one of the files. We're going to navigate to the sheet that the data is on. And instead of just grabbing one of the files, I'm going to replace this 2022 sales budget text here with an asterisk, which tells Alteryx to grab every single file in this folder that is a .xlsx type. So I'm going to click run now. And in 0.7 seconds, it pulled in every single data point in all of these different files, and I've got about 30 files here. Yep, we've got 30 files. So by the looks of it, the data really starts on line 6, and the headers start on line 5. So let's configure the input tool to adjust for that. And in the Excel file, there's a total line, but we don't need that for our purposes. So let's filter out this total line. I'm going to do that by dragging a filter tool. And I'm going to choose the customer field. I'm going to say does not equal total. Drag this over so you can see a little bit more of it. And I'm going to do Control R from the workflow. And now we have that total taken out. I'm assuming that most of us here have spun our wheels before trying to realize why a formula isn't working, and come to find out it's because the cell has a leading space. So there's a really quick way to get rid of these leading spaces. It's this data cleansing tool. I'm just going to drag this onto the canvas after the true and Control R run. And now the leading spaces are removed. Okay, so now we've got a full, complete data set. And if we wanted to just copy this data straight out of the tool and bring it over to an Excel file, we could just do that right away. We could also drag the tool onto the canvas and write this data to an Excel file, to a CSV, and a whole bunch of other formats. We could database it. So as you can see, it's very easy to repeat this workflow after it's set up. So if the forecast files get updated, your workflow is already built. So consolidating the data again is as simple as going into the workflow and clicking the run button, and a few seconds later, you're done. What's also great about the tool is that it's visually traceable. Gone are the days where you have to trace complex formulas through multiple tabs just to find out what is going on in someone's data model. And because the tool is built like a flow chart, you can trace what's happening in the data every single step of the way without having to also analyze any type of code. And so I've just really scratched the surface of this tool. There are many, many use cases here. Any process which requires data manipulation or data science can be done using this tool. I use this tool to automate all kinds of things like booking journal entries, consolidating forecast files, creating income statements, and even sending out emails. Feel free to reach out to me at the email address shown here.